Hello everyone, it's Linda from Linda Z's in Arlington Heights, welcoming you to our Thursday morning coffee. I have a really fun, quick, easy project for you today that I think would be great for you for some of your gift giving for Valentine's Day or a birthday or anniversary. And before I get into it, I just want to mention that we do have some wonderful virtuals coming up. Those of you that do like our virtuals, we do them by all different platforms. Check our website because it's a great way to look for them. The license to create is one of my favorite. I don't know how many have done this yet, but it is just a great project. It's limited, so those of you that are in it, I'm really happy to see that because I've seen some wonderful projects come out. And I think it would be something that you really need to check out. I would encourage you to really look and see what it'll do. Now, behind me today is this wonderful quilt. Now, a lot of times people see the red colors, but this is really a winter quilt. It's not really a Christmas quilt. That's why we have it up here. And it actually could almost be Valentine's with the reds in it too. And we still have a few quilt kits left of that, not many, but I would encourage you. That's one of my very favorite ones to do. It was real quick and very easy. Another project that we're coming up, and I think, Nick, isn't it class number 5 or month 5? And that, I'm going to try and take this as an enormous quilt. The COVID blue, they call it. I need to be about 6 foot taller to show you this really carefully. But this is the modern quilt, the modern quilt blocks, and they're doing, I believe it's the 5th one, and each one of these are different and just teach you so much. I mean, the colors.
We go over 100 blocks. There's 100 blocks.
There's over 100 blocks, yeah.
So modern design.
I know it's one of your favorite, isn't it?
It's really, I'm learning a lot filming this with Sue Ellen, so it's
this
pretty
is
fun.
Called COVID Blue. Sue Ellen is the one that decided the colors because she started it at the very beginning of COVID, and with 100 and some blocks, I guess that's an easy thing.
So if
you're
interested in getting into quilting and modern quilting, that class is like great.
Really
you can hop on at any time.
Look at the back.
You can watch the first session. Yeah, beautiful.
It's just really,
she actually did that on her long arm too.
Yeah, so you can hop on at any time. You don't have to have started at the beginning and then said, oh my gosh, I didn't do it. Now how can I start? Anytime you can join us. So let's start with our project today because I think you'll really enjoy what we're talking about. It's very easy. I am using, you know, my wonderful serger, and I didn't bring both of them, but this is the Bernina 850. I do have an 890, and I actually have a Triumph. And people say to me, how can you possibly have all those sergers? Because they do different things. And at the end of the session, I'm going to show you a different type of scarf that was done with the Triumph with the 3/4 thread overlock. This is a 2-thread rolled hem. But the way that it comes out and it's adjusted, it's very fine because what I'm working with today are rayon fabrics. I want you to be aware that rayon is one of the most wonderful fabrics. They drape nicely. They're warm. They're cool in the summer. They just really are a great fiber to work with. Now, even though, that being said, they do have a little ripple to them, and you can see that I put one out here on the board. And I did, I actually do have this all squared up, so it was cut, you know, perfectly on the 2 edges. This is going to be a long scarf, a long one that I can wrap and do all kinds of things with. The rayons, when I prepare them, I do throw them in the machine and in the dryer. And the reason I do that, I don't want to have to dry clean all of these afterwards. So they've already been washed and prepped, so I can do it again. And when I first put them in, I don't know if I'm giving it as a gift, if they're going to use it in a hot place or a warm dryer, or what they're going to do. So I do it higher than I would normally do. Then I know that all the shrinkage and everything has occurred. And even the batik rayons have, you know, colors that could bleed through them. Those I still put in the machine, and then I put them in the dryer. And I have those little round wool balls that are just fabulous. I pop those in the dryer, and it helps so that the wrinkles aren't too bad when it comes out. Then I take my Laura Starr, and you can see this is a piece that I haven't prepared yet. And it's kind of ravelly, you know, it does have this, but like some people say they finish off the edges before they put it in the machine. I would never do that for these. You don't need to do that. And with those balls in the dryer, if you don't know what I'm talking about, they're They're round woolen balls that are for drying, and you just throw them in your dryer, and they bounce around with the fabric to keep them. They dry quicker and they dry with less wrinkles. So this is one that has not been pressed yet. Now, what I will do before I prep this, I will take this piece of fabric and I'll take it over to the Laura Starr. And the Laura Starr is really the best one for this because I do have a couple of other portable irons, but I've never used those because you need something like this. This is a Teflon cover that goes over the machine, over the iron, and maybe you can see it as I do it here. See how this will kind of pop down on it? There, it's hard to do it on the table. Let's put it on the iron and let's see if I can get it for you. There we go. And so when I do that, then I have a real nice bottom because you don't want this iron to be too hot on rayons. What would happen? You know what could happen with a rayon? I've seen some people come in and they just press and press and press, and they get, what they do is they actually burn the fabric, and then they get ripples and creases in there that they can't get out. So you have to be a little careful when you're doing it. It's not hard, and you know that you've got that big steam that's coming out, so you will have nice steam that will eliminate wrinkles, and that's why this is such a great iron. Those of you that have the lift irons, it will be great for that too. So we have prepared our fabric, we washed it, we put it into the dryer, we have pressed it, then you put it out on your cutting board. You want to take your rotary cutter and one of your rulers. You can see I've already done this, I'm not going to do it, but it definitely is important to square it up so that your edges are really nice and even. This is the selvage down here, and I am going to cut that selvage off. In fact, I've done it on one of the scarves already over there. Then what I'm going to do, I've done something different. I don't know if anybody noticed, but on this really wonderful 850 Bernina, do you see the two threads that are up here? I didn't use, normally on my serger, I would always use this because, of course, this is much more economical. It just works very well. But if you see all the colors of the scarves that are on the table here, I used a lot of different color. So in order to do that and to match it up, I just took the metrazine thread. And because this is really a 2-thread rolled hem, I only need 2 threads, one in the needle and one in the looper. That's it. Now, you can see I have a whole group of fabrics that I'm going to pull out. These are just wonderful rayons. This is a Starr fabric, which I just love. I've got it. It reminds me of Picasso, and again, it's a very long scarf. And I'll show you a couple things now on this because it's black and white. It doesn't matter that the back isn't the same as the front, but you could fold this in half, and you could take it around and bring it through here, and then bring it up through the back, and now you've got a nice little scarf here to give you just a little bit of warmth. And if you're in a cool climate, say you're in, cold Chicago where we have lots of snow and everything, this is going to give you a really nice warmth, not necessarily as you're wearing it outside, but definitely inside. The other thing that I do when I have one of these long scarves, like, let me take this one. Say you're in Florida or you're in Arizona or somewhere where Texas where it's real nice and warm in the wintertime, you can take this scarf and you can see the little edge that I've done. This edge was done again with this kind of a, it's kind of a moss green. And it blends very well with this, and it also blends with this fabric here. So it was really a good combination. And again, I can take this and fold it carefully in half, and then I can take the 2 edges like this and pull them around, and especially if you're in a real hot climate, because you're in air conditioning quite a bit, and you just need a little bit of warmth, and this is really going to give it to you when you do that. So, and again, you can take it off real easily when you don't need it, and it just keeps that draft and whatever it is that you need. Now, again, we're coming up to Valentine's Day, and this might be a really good time for you to think about gifts for your family and friends and whoever else it is that you would like to give something to. Here, this is kind of cute too. I don't know if you can see this. I did not finish all 4 edges on here. You can see there's a little see the little fringe on here? This has got a stitch across here, so it will not fray. It's not going to come off real. And I think the little fringe was much nicer than on this particular fabric. And I did it on this one too, because you can see that the fringe is just gives it a little bit of a kind of a fun flair. And these are a batik rayon, which are really fun to use too. I'm going to show you on the mannequin over here. This is a rayon that has, this is a dress, and we do teach this class. Diane, one of our instructors, and you can see the wrong side is white. So when you're doing a scarf like that, I did the Xfinity scarf, and this is a same kind of fabric with different colors. And we've taught this Xfinity class in our clubs, so the instructions are completely there in the club, so I'm not going to go into that again. But you can see there's a seam here. You can put it on, you can bring it around a second time, and now you've got a really fun little thing that you can put on. It's not real warm, but yet it's not real cold either. So it's, you know, it's not going to give you the temperature of whatever environment you're in is really going to be fun. So I'm going to show you a couple other quick fabrics that I think are great. This again is a rayon that is just, I'm going to do this as one of my next scarves. And you can do one of 2 things. On this particular scarf, I have cut 2 yards. By the time I throw it in the machine and the dryer, there'll probably be 1 3/4 left, and then there's no fringes, and I can do my seams. So I could do that, or this is quite a wide fabric. If you see from here to here, this is about, let's see here, we're at 26 inches, so you got 26, 26, so you got 52 inches, which is really wonderful. So you could easily just go from a length of from your salvage to salvage and cut it around maybe 18 inches. So out of 1 yard, you would get 2 scarves. And that's what I've done in quite a few of my, my fabrics. I've also taken a fabric that goes like this. Here's another real wide one, and this is kind of fun. And because it is so wide, I've actually cut this along the seam line once I stretched it out like I've done here, and I was able to get out of the 2 yards 2 scarves, because I don't want it 60 inches wide. That's too wide for a scarf for me anyway. And this way I was able to get this scarf and this one out of that, that same cut. So it's very, very economical. Now let's go to the machine and show you real quickly what the stitch looks like. I won't do the whole thing, but I want you to see. And another key thing that people keep asking me is, why do you have all these zircles around? Well, I do press when I do pin when I'm using these. This is a tube scarf that I'll finish up with. And you can see when I put these together, put the raw edges together, I want to pin those. I could use my little clips on here, but if this is actually a knit fabric, and when you're working with a knit fabric, it's a little bit different than rayon, because when you're working with knit, knit's going to roll to your right side. So the pins really keep it much smoother. So when I'm pinning this, now I did this on my other serger, but if you can be with me for a minute, I'm pinning this, and it's pinned all the way along this thing. And as I'm sewing, I'm taking my pins out of the scarf, and then I'm throwing them onto my empty zircle over here, which is really, really a key thing for you. If you get used to that, you'll sew more, and you'll be able to do it better because it will go real fast. This little tool, and I guess I could put it on a scarf here to show you. You can see it. This little silver tool, it's got a little hook in the point. And this is really, really wonderful, this little hook. When you want to take an ending, I've got this end here, I left this on. This particular, see, I can click it right in there. And now I can take this and put this back in the serger. I want to do it the other way so you can see it. And what I'll do is I'll run this little loop, this little longer piece, through the serging stitches. And I'm going to actually, can you see that there very well? Okay, so I'm going to bring them through, and then as I bring them through, I'm going to hook this and bring this whole piece back in. And what it does is it locks this in place, so it's never going to come out. You could put a little dab of your fray check. Anybody who has a serger today does need to have a fray check, and sergers go hand in hand. It's something you absolutely have to have when you're going to do a serger. So let me, we've got a couple more minutes, and you know that we do on our clubs, we teach this very, very carefully when we're doing our classes. Let me put this back up here, and I'm going to sit down so I can show it to you real quickly. Found the foot control, which is really important when you're doing this. I also have a knee lift lever that is inserted into this machine, which if you see there, it's raising and lowering the foot. If I want to make sure where my threads are, I can go ahead once I can actually open this and then turn my foot out, and I can see that I've actually started this. Now, I brought my serger from home, so I usually check all the threads. So let's see if we're, if something, sometimes they can get a little askew when they're in the car. But you can see on this foot, I guess I'm a little faster serger than a lot of people. There is in here, I don't know if we can see, are you looking at the front or the back, Nick, from this? Where? You can see the front? Okay, see this little button right here? That is, you can put it on half speed, which I never do, or full speed, as you could tell, because I don't like to go real slow when I'm doing this. But now you can see what I'm doing. I mean, how wonderful this is. Look at that fine, nice, wonderful edge. And you can see I didn't do anything. I didn't do any changing. I didn't do any, you know, I didn't change any buttons or anything. This machine just sews so beautifully. You can see it as it's going. And this is a key thing. This little holder right here is guiding the fabric. So I know it's going to be perfectly straight as it goes along. So you see how smooth it is? There's no puckers, there's no anything. And I'll just keep doing that on one side. I'll turn it over to the other side. Then I'll finish the two at the top. I want to show you before I get, and remember, when we get into the club, that's when we do everything completely. We go it from top to beginning, and again, showing you the fabric and exactly what to do and all the different things. This knit fabric I wanted to show you, if you've never seen a tube turner before, this is what I've done on this. I've sewn on my baby lock with my 4-thread edge all the way along one side, and then the other side, and then I left a tiny little opening. And what is really cool about this is that when you've got a fabric like this, or sometimes I'll do it on this kind of a fabric too, because again, see how it's got the white in the background? And when you're turning your scarf and putting it around you, you don't want that edge to show, or you don't want that back side to show. So by having it turned inside out, and having a tube scarf, you won't have that. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing this tube turner all the way down to the end of this long tube of scarf. And I love the part that comes next. Now this is about 2 yards. I mean, it's a long scarf, but it's really a fun one. Then I go to right about where the opening is that I left it, and you take your stick, which comes with these tube turners, and you poke through where you see where the little opening is? Now watch what happens. Voila! We have a completely ready to go new scarf. I do take it to my Laura Starr to press it. I can't stress enough the pressing and how important it is. I do have those tube turners that I don't have here that are really key when you want to go into your corners. You want those corners to look nice. Then I'll just hand whip that little edge that's left. And now you have a wonderful little scarf that's real easy to manage. Again, you can put it through here. You can bring it up. You can bring it around. I mean, there's just all kinds of fun things. I could have a whole class just on teaching you how to do different types of scarves. So they're really fun. I hope this has been a little informative. I know these tube turners we have in the on our website. So just go have fun with them. Take some of these techniques that we've shown. If you really love what we're doing, be sure and sign up for our clubs because they really do go step by step by step. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day and or evening if you're coming after work, and we'll see you next week.